hate the way that they do this. Cool. Is this loud enough? I think this is loud enough. All right. We'll get into this in like 2 seconds. I really, really hate the way this looks right now. Oh, well. I'll get into this in a second. Boom. I got to start this live here too. Okay. Fuck. All right. Once I'm done with this, we'll get into it. Hey guys. All right. I'm just putting a comment and then we'll get into it. Yep, that's perfect. All right, cool. Let's get into the message today. Okay. So I don't like turn this off. That looks. All right, y'all. Let's get into the business right now. Okay, so all right. So there's a lot of things that I've been processing over the last 2 weeks or so. And I just wanted to be able to share it with everyone. And sometimes when you get messages and things, they happen very quickly. So because they're happening so quickly, it gets a little difficult to, at times, speak what these changes are, these manifestations, these thoughts and ideas that you're assimilating into your reality so quickly. It gets difficult sometimes to be able to express them to other people. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. I sort of went over because I know I haven't been making videos as often as I was, and I haven't been really going live that much because I've really been in a space of learning myself and building, my business and things of that nature. So dealing with life and then also doing the inner work to grow. Because if you ever want to live differently, you have to think, act, and be different than what you were in the past. So it's very important to come to a space to where you really start to grow and manifest in your own nature and in a higher, more productive way. That's super important. So, we're going to be talking about now. I wanted to get back into, I know when I ended my last live, because I did a quick card reading, we started by talking about the geoengineering and all that. Now, this is not, I don't do fear mongering. So, I'm never going to do something to where you guys are in fear or there isn't a solution. I won't even speak about things of that nature because I know that fear is really just an illusion. And it's almost like you're creating an obstacle in order for you to overcome that obstacle in the long run. So that's what fear truly is. Now, you can't say at this point that you think that all your weather isn't being controlled. And I wouldn't even say all the weather, just some of the weather is being controlled. It wouldn't be so difficult to understand that every machine, every device, everything that you are using is a manifestation of something that is a spiritual gift inside of you. So we just put these things outside of ourselves so that we have the symbols all around that remind us of what's actually inside of us, right? So as we do that, we learn to, we can learn. We've heard of shamans that can work with the weather, and we've heard of, you see Storm on X-Men and all that. So it wouldn't be totally unfathomable to believe that there's something outside of you then, a machine or something of that nature, that could work with the weather as well. Even though your spiritual mechanisms and devices are more tuned and adept to working with the elements. You just have no knowledge of this because the knowledge of that has either been hidden or lost to you. So as we go within ourselves, we learn to cultivate um, our abilities to communicate. The first step really is communicating with the weather, communicating with the elements, with ether, the spiritual element, with earth, the physical element. Hey, with just dealing with all these different elements. With what's another one? So we have earth, with water, with fire, with air. And air is communication. And sometimes a lot of the things that we are feeling and expressing and things of that nature is very difficult to express in words, especially when you start having these deeper spiritual experiences and spiritual messages, and where you start to get so deep into the feeling that and understanding the nature of the feeling through feeling, that words just don't seem to do justice to the vibration that you just felt. Yet we use our limited perspective and our limited words to try and express what we are experiencing to other people. Hey, Richard, what's up? Mr. Band Clap, what's going on? so, so we're really learning at this time. From my perspective, it's not wise to get into a space of fear and to get into a space of confusion, to get into a space of, self-doubt, where we really start to break ourselves down. Instead, understand where you are, and understanding your water or your emotions, your fire, your passion, really helps you to then cultivate and communicate with what is around you. So everything around you is really vibrating. And once you become the master of your vibrations, you can learn to communicate and not control. Now, controlling the weather is a misnomer. Nobody can really control the weather. What it is that you communicate and you give gratitude. And then the weather being in its own divine space and nature and not going outside of that will then yield but it's not based on this whole thing of control. It's more based on this it's more based on gratitude than anything, and then being in your own balanced holistic mind. Control doesn't really exist. The only thing anybody can really control is their own emotional state, or their own states of being, or their own awareness. You can't really, and sometimes you might think you have control of your awareness, but then you might discover a new level of awareness. So even that, to an extent, is really outside of your control. But how you feel is always 100% in your own control. And so this is the reason why the heart forms before the brain, because we are learning to control. So we are learning to not control, but to really communicate and connect with our own emotions. You don't have to let any circumstance that you are in control you and dictate your emotional state. You don't have to be reactionary. You can actually be proactive in how you choose to feel. And while that's the harder thing to do, it's the wiser thing to do. To be proactive in how you choose to feel is very important. So we have a comment. I swear, if you learn how to be in harmony with nature itself, being in harmony with nature will be second nature. So the whole thing is that everything, right? The trees, a blade of grass, the rocks, we're doing all rose quartz today, but our crystals, right? All these things are things that we've manifested outside of us to remind us of certain vibrations that exist inside of us, and to remind us of how far we can go. And how you cultivate your inner power is, personally, I've been really falling away. I don't worship anything. I've never really worshipped anything. And a lot of the deities that I work with, they're almost like my soul family, or they're like, such an aspect. There's such an interesting another aspect of just myself, that and then I'm aware that that's just a description of energy, and that is just one aspect of self, to the point that I can call on these energies at will at this point, and they show up. And how do I know that they show up? Because I can feel the shift in energy within myself. I can feel the shift in energy. I receive visions. I receive symbols. I receive confirmation just by the work that I do with clients, where I am clearing their DNA, helping with attachments, helping with clearing spiritual attachments, emotional attachments, entity detachments, healing DNA, transmutating, helping them become more enlivened and understanding their own divine nature. Um, it's really, that's how you know. The proof is in the pudding. If, as they say, if there aren't tangible results, then you have to question whether you are having a fear behind something that you are doing or putting out into the world. Baphomet is more of a symbol, and yes, I have a video on Baphomet. I don't need to work with him though at all for anything. I just communicate with him. He can't do anything for me. The what I work with or communicate with mostly is my higher self, my own absolute seat of my power, my own energy. And sometimes my higher self will teach me lessons. Like, you don't have to pull in your own energy through your crown chakra. My higher self will be like, listen, go within and find me within you. Now that's a difficult thing to do, to find your higher self, because you're so used to being out of your body, channeling, especially because I channel so much. You're so used to being out of your body and traveling, that when your higher self is like, all right, it's time to learn a lesson, little me, um, find me within you. And that's what you really have to do. Now you're over here. That's so funny. So that's what I do. And you don't need to understand anything, but let me express this from my perspective. I would not recommend giving your higher self a name, but rather experiencing the highest aspect of yourself as an energy. Because where it's from, I killed a lot of my ancestors. I literally killed them in a dream. I work with my ancestors that are for this path, and they'll want the highest manifestations. But all these energies are your ancestors also. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that a lot of these entities that you're choosing to work with are your ancestors. Let me get back on track. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Damn, Isabel. So anyway, it's really important to go within yourself and really start to cultivate your inner power more than anything else. You're going to have so many things outside of you that are going to try to persuade you to give your power away. And I just want to persuade you not to give your power away. Not to me, not to anyone. Because whatever you have to gift the world with is exactly that. It's a gift. So whatever you're giving, I wouldn't give them a name. Well, I wouldn't give your higher self a name, but I see you haven't tapped into your higher self yet. So, hit me up if you want to do a reading or if you want to get in touch, because we could really get some techniques going that'll put you on a path to connecting with your higher self. You will never need me again. That's like my goal. And if people need me periodically, that's fine too, because I have certain clients that I do work with periodically. Every like 2 months, every 3 months, when they're going through a transition or whatever, we'll work together and really get a lot of clarity. We all need clarity sometimes, so there's no shame in that. Um, okay. So I want to speak on, so that's really the part where the elements are not separate from you. So if you believe in harp and all these things, then why don't you believe that that thing only manifested outside of you to show you how powerful you are inside of you? Why do you believe that your meditations, your visualizations of maybe seeing a hurricane move, why do you think that that's not valid nor real? That's really a question we need to ask ourselves. Why do we believe that we can't do what we can actually do? Like, why do you believe that there's something greater than yourselves, yourself? From what you're experiencing right now, if this is all you could ever experience, why not make what you have sacred? And this way you could tap into the higher realms. Um, when we're not, and another thing, and I think a lot of men are getting it now, but a lot of male clients, they want all the information. Y'all want all the information, but you don't want to do the emotional work. And that's a problem too. Because, and I have even female clients, I have just individuals that I come across. Let's just say it that way. Because my clients are pretty on point. Can't say nothing against really my clients. They're pretty on point. They're all pretty on point, I gotta say, for the most part. Pretty tapped in individuals. Um, but certain individuals will be so obsessed with the knowledge, and they get so caught up with that their own reality that they created where they know everything, that they could never see how somebody else's perspective could actually benefit them. And that's kind of a rough thing to think about, like, because I know that I don't know everything. And if I thought that I knew everything, I could never tap in so high or tap in so deep, high and deep, multidimensional with my own higher self and really get the downloads and messages that have been creating a reality for me that is insanely, massively fulfilling. Um, honestly. So recognizing when you need some help or some assistance or another perspective is just really important. Also, I want to talk a little bit about cultivating your compassion. Today's a great day because today these pink and loving and just vibes that make you feel like really good are are very present. So today's like a great day. Yeah, gotta make the algorithm work in your favor. For real. Um, so cultivating your compassion, understanding the emotions of ourselves and others. A lot of people are doing a lot of emotional work right now. And in that, you're actually beginning to see things where you're not just a child anymore. You're becoming like more than just even the adult. And you actually see and have compassion for even what your parents went through. And you understand, like, damn, I'm this important, that these people were guided to have me so that my path turns out like this. Like, you'll start to see the way the mechanisms of reality are really working in your favor when you cultivate compassion for others and when you can really tap into not being the empath that runs away from their emotions because they feel everything that everyone else feels and you think you're so superior. You're a superior empath. You're too good for other people's emotions. You're too good to feel what other people feel. Oh my God, that is disgusting, that vibration. Don't touch me like that's childish. That's so childish. And instead use your empathic abilities to really start to understand love and give some more compassion to others and to even your own self. Yeah, you guys are having some recognitions in the chat. When did you get an Akashic record reading? Oh, the way Akasha comes through is hilarious. Let's see. Okay. Oh, let's talk about some half truths. This was a funny one, and I thought about this the other day, and I was like, "See, I'm really going through stuff that I've been thinking about, and this is not even half of it. This is like you guys are getting like a very small portion of the way my brain has been working for the last 2 weeks." Okay, let's talk about some half truths that we learned growing up so that we can start to deprogram ourselves from these half truths. The first half truth you're told as a child, or not the first, but one of the ones that it's so subtle that you would never really even think about it till you took a moment to really think about it. And one half truth that we were told as children is that our emotions are one dimensional. Now that doesn't sound, it doesn't sound like there's an agenda, or it doesn't sound like, okay, this is happy, this is sad, this is angry. And if you notice those charts, like they had those little charts in elementary school, when you look at these charts, the emotions correlate with different chakras. So this is happy, this is sad, this is angry, whatever. But it's only showing one, this is joy, whatever. It's only showing one emotional state on those charts. And think about how crazy that is. It's not showing that your emotions are like a dial and they can be turned up and tuned in, or they can be turned down. And we're never taught the capacity to feel. And we're never taught how there's like different levels or different capacities to feel in different individuals. And I think that that's really an issue. The only time you see a capacity to feel, and check this out, and I was thinking about this, when you were in elementary school, was when you went to the nurse's office and she would point to that stupid chart and be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain you were in. So in society, then that comes across as how people will talk about how bad their situation is. Oh, my situation is this bad. And then somebody else will be like, well, mine is this bad. And then somebody else will be like, well, mine is this bad. And then now everybody is comparing how bad their lives are. It's literally ridiculous to sit and compare how bad your lives are. My life is this bad. My life is this bad. But you learn that because that pain is the only thing that is multi-dimensional. Now that is some fucked up shit. Like, only your pain is multi-dimensional. Only your pain has different levels and can be turned up or down. So that's what you learn in elementary school. You are not taught that anger, sadness, joy, happiness, the more you tap into your own soul, the more you start to realize that there are nuances of emotion that you can never express in words and that must be experienced. Experiencing inner bliss during meditation. Bliss, the way the word comes off the tongue and everything, that's the only way, other than maybe a song, that one could express what bliss actually feels like, because bliss is so intense and so beautiful, and so it's just so multidimensional that that is very, very difficult to describe bliss. It's extremely difficult to describe bliss. Um, just like when someone's feeling an internal pain where they have maybe a broken heart, they may spend so much time talking about their broken heart because they really can't find the words to describe the pain that they feel. So this is really getting into being more energetic beings. And this is why we have so many, and everyone's realizing that they're all empaths at this time. So you have all these people that are coming online and recognizing that they're energetic beings. So you can actually share feelings with people. And I love doing that. I love being able to go into a meditation and you just like, here, let me show you what joy feels like from my perspective. You connect into with the chakras of the other person, and you can just from the heart chakra project joy. I feel very grateful right now. So somebody's sending me gratitude. I appreciate you. That is the purest way. Psychically, like that. Psychically. That is the purest way that you can express and share an emotion with someone else. Oh, now you switch to this one? I'm so dead. So that's really what we're dealing with. Had to have my hibiscus tea because today the Venus energy is super high. So people are in like love vibes, you know. Oh my God, you guys both switched. So annoying. This is the most hilarious thing ever. Y'all are having way too much fun with the live stream right now. Y'all both were like, fuck that. We're going to go over to Facebook now. Hilarious. Okay, so some other, oh, and you guys can put in the chat half truths that people told you growing up, and I'll read them off. And so some other half truths is that someone knows better than you because they're older. So nah, it's popping wherever you two are, apparently. So someone knows better because they're older. That was a half truth that we learned. And it's funny because like with me, if I'm dealing with my son or children or anybody, when I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong, and I will consciously make an effort to ask that other person for forgiveness. So it's really important to ask for forgiveness. And to really put your ego to the side. And how the fuck did age a number? And most of these old motherfuckers are like, and I mean old in their fucking consciousness, like they got this old, they're young souls, but they think like old men, like old bored men. So they're really young souls that have an old person's mind, like an old worn out person's mind. I mean, worn out as old or used up. And then they think they're better or they know better than you because they're older. Like it's completely ridiculous to think that somebody thinks that they know better than you just because they're older than you. That has nothing to do with anything. And somebody who's really on their, hey, Erica. I gotta send you an email soon. The next cycle for the master class, I think I'm gonna start mid-October. So that's not necessarily the truth. And I don't think that it makes sense for us to get so lost in like fucking believing that somebody knows better than us just because they're older than us. Like that has nothing to do with anything. And when we're wrong, be egoless and just admit that you were wrong. That's like the easiest thing to do. If you're wrong, be egoless and admit that you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. I'm not right. I may have to go back sometimes and be like, listen, I fucked up. Listen, guys, that shit was wrong. I did some deeper research. So that's like the way that you do it. It says, my dad recently terrified me with that, and my mom was watching, doing hard time when I was a kid. Hold on. I'm trying to see more, but Facebook is not letting me see this whole comment. I don't know, y'all. Okay. Doing hard time when I was a kid, so I was terrified of jail. So it made you, that's interesting. That's actually a programming too, and that programming comes from slavery. Um, all right, so the next lie, the other half truth that we were told is children was junk DNA. Junk DNA. Just listen to how stupid it sounds. This is the DNA that is understood, and the rest is just junk DNA. How can something that's even though, what is it, the gallbladder, or what the fuck is that little thing at the end of your stomach? They're like, this doesn't work anymore. It's part of your that part of your body doesn't work anymore. It's evolved. You've evolved since then. So that's shrunken up and not used. That sounds suspicious to me. And what the fuck is a junk DNA? There is no junk DNA. What it is, and see, this is part of, just because they're older and they have some sort of illusion of authority over you doesn't necessarily mean that they know better than you. So instead of believing in this junk DNA thing, really take some time to cultivate and understand that they could just have been like, listen, we understand this portion of the DNA, this 2 or 3%, and the rest of it we don't understand right now. What do you mean? Elaborate. It says that's the stuff them Hotep dudes used to say back in the day. Oh, what they used to don't tell me they used to believe in junk DNA. Because I really sat and thought about this. I was like, what are all these lies that we were told when we were kids? We gotta clean this shit up for ourselves. So yeah, there's no junk DNA. There's DNA that we understand and DNA that some people don't understand. I can't say, I know that I can program my DNA and I can program my consciousness. So I become the programmer of my own DNA, my own consciousness. I write the program for myself. You can do the same thing. It's Oh, okay. They actually used to say that though. Did they? Because I never even heard it. I just remember in school that when I heard that shit, I was like, how can something that's within your body be junk? That doesn't make sense to me. Okay. So the next lie that we were told, and if you guys know some lies that you were told as children, put it in the chat. The next lie that we were told as children, or that we were, this one was a nuanced. It was more like that we were shown this, but that slaves were happy. I feel stupid just saying it. Like I wanted to laugh. Like my DNA just laughed. Like, ha! My ancestors are like laughing at the fact. So, like in textbooks and things, first of all, they would only have one paragraph on slavery, even though it's something that's dictating a lot of reality now. That a lot of people are healing from that. Oh, I was told my imaginary friends weren't real. That's actually a really good one. Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about that too. So, then you're given one paragraph on slavery. Then you're shown a picture with slaves smiling and like cooking and dancing and shit. And you're like, but then told that so it's really, the picture becomes the symbol. And the picture is just what they're doing is they're using that as a glyph or as a symbol to impress a certain image upon your consciousness, as if, oh well, we're not wrong for this, or it's really coming from a space of feeling guilty. So you're trying to hide the truth and make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was, but at this time all truths are going to be revealed, and they are being revealed. So that was one that really pissed me the fuck off. Okay, so Ricky says, the spirits I'd see, no one else could see. I was told that my imaginary friends weren't real. That makes a lot of sense. That they told you that your imaginary friends, but they couldn't see your imaginary friends. I encourage children, all children, to play with their imaginary friends. Um, you need, oh, that was something he was told at, look, spiritual expression. Thank you for checking in. He said, you need to respect police, respect filth. That's a lie he was told, or a half truth he was told as a kid. So you were told to respect authority. So that came up in both sides. And I'm just going to let you guys know, because I'm live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So I'm going to let you guys both know that that is coming from programming that was put in place during slavery. And I guess the spirit needs me to speak on this so that everybody understands it a little deeper. Um, so what happened was slavery really the programming that was put in place during slavery was to remove the man. First of all, you abuse the man in front of the woman, and you make her feel like he's not an adequate protector and provider. So that's the first thing. Then the next thing that they do is then they will totally remove the man from the situation. So then that's really the next step when it comes to that. So it's first that you're going, and a lot of times they would rape the men, and nobody speaks on that. So that means a lot of you men are coming with that in your DNA, and that needs to be cleansed out, that you were raped, and that you were, and or your ancestors were raped, and those ancestors, they need to speak. They need their voices to be heard. They need their pain to be told so that it can be cleared. It has to come up and come out. So we have that. And then what you would do is you would remove the man and you would break up the families. Now, when a woman doesn't have her man there to provide and protect, what ends up happening is and then when you're in a situation where you're in a state of fear, what happens is that the woman then teaches her son to live up to certain standards and be physically strong. This is coming through so clear. I know this is coming from a channel. You teaching the son to be so strong, but mentally he is very weak, and he is dealing with that space of fear. And then what happens is with the daughters is that the daughters learn this independent syndrome, and to be independent, because if they love a man too much, then he's going to just get taken away from her. And then it's a perpetual cycle where women are learning to be overly independent instead of learning interdependence and working together. And then the men are learning to be physically strong but mentally weak, when all your strength is in your mind. All your strength is in your mind. So you're learning not to speak out and things of this nature. It's very, very important at this time that a lot of you begin to break that old programming and really begin to rise above it. Spirit must have wanted you guys to have that message. So that's very interesting. That's why I was told to come on today. So we have spare the rod, spoil the child. That's a good one, actually. Because you don't, okay, so I'll talk about that when it comes to children. Okay, so whatever you guys were told, half truths you were told as kids, put it in the chat, and then we're gonna just fucking destroy all these myths right now. So spare the rod, spoil the child come from, again, that's even dating back into slavery. That's dating back from being abused. And that's coming from believing that the only way to put somebody in line is by instilling fear into them. And it's when you're trying to superimpose your perspective on another individual so that they can't then form their own perspective. Okay. So that's really where that comes from, and even that's being broken at this time. This is why the conversation around compassion is coming up. This is why the conversation around healing our DNA and loving each other and loving ourselves is coming up, because a lot of people you guys are, the chains are falling. That's what I see. That's the channel the Spirit's giving me, is like, I see all these beautiful brothers and sisters, and the chains are just falling off at this time. So that's why all this emotional healing and healing in the DNA and things of that nature are coming up. You guys are being divinely healed and guided. Um, so so that's what's going on with that. Now, in regards to our children, instead of and I know that most people are coming to a space that they realize that hitting doesn't work and it just makes your child more rebellious. So instead of coming to a space where you're hitting your children, um, we are beginning to come to a space that we are beginning to instead communicate with them. Because when you're a kid, well, especially when I was a kid, I was always asking, why? Why this? Why that? Why this? So when your child does something that's considered wrong or that can put them in danger or something of that nature, just explain to them why. And then they understand and then they don't do it anymore. So that's very, very important. Yo, I felt it. I saw it. The chains are falling. Yeah, 2020 is real. Everybody's proclaiming their freedom right. Let me just channel for you guys because spirit is coming through so heavy. Everybody is proclaiming their freedom right now, their truths, and the truth and the true nature of their reality. You guys are really coming into a beautiful place of harmony. And there are individuals and entities that don't want to see that reality come into fruition. But if you all would be loving and compassionate within yourself, you would be able to create that reality. We need to put energy. What I feel is that we have to begin to put, though, and it's not all of us, it's those of you guys that are drawn to this message. Put energy into that reality and creating harmony in your life. And as you do that, more harmony is going to be created around you, for you, through you, to you. It's just that's how it's coming through right now. Okay, so we got another one. What about the game is to be sold, not told? Oh my God, you were told that as a kid? Who tells that to kids? Something that I've been calm when it comes to spiritual work because I want to charge. In a lot of cases, I end up helping people for free. Okay, Ricky. So the issue that you're having is you have an issue with self-worth, and you have to understand that whenever you're helping somebody spiritually, you're taking energy out of your own field and pouring it into their field in order to assist them in some way and gain clarity. So there is an energetic exchange happening. So while you are feeling drained, you will also become resentful because you didn't get even a small amount of pimps tell that to kids. Yeah, that I can't fuck with. But you're what's happening is the energetic, you're not receiving, you're only giving. So you're not receiving any energy back, so you're becoming depleted. So you have to learn to really begin to tap in a way that you know that you're worthy of receiving. That also is an issue with the root chakra, feeling unworthy to receive. You feel unworthy to have your needs met, unworthy for the assistance that you absolutely positively deserve. You absolutely deserve that. Also, pimps are not terrible, but they're pretty fucking terrible. So the game is to be sold, not told. Well, the truth is, if you choose to be, you can choose to be in the game or in these games or in these realities that we call games, or you can choose to pull yourself out of these games and start living in a way that it's not no fucking game. You can become the person that can create the game if you want to, but you shouldn't be playing any games. You are going to have to always use a measure of strategy, in accomplishing what you want to accomplish, but create your own game. And I mean, they're talking about the game is to be sold, not told. That's so fucking disgusting because they're selling women, and they're selling women who are emotionally abused, physically abused, sexually abused, and then they're manipulating them into selling their bodies for this man who who has nothing to sell. He's literally just finessing the woman. He has nothing to sell. The woman has something to sell, something of worth, something to offer. He has nothing. All he's doing is manipulating a weak woman. So fuck that shit. Like, that's fucking disgusting. That shit needs to end. Um well, the thing is that you don't know what. Okay, so I'm going to read the question so you guys all can hear it on both ends. When is it okay to use manipulation on the one you love to lead them the right way? So, you're never supposed to use manipulation on somebody just because you love them, because your way may not be the right way. I don't know if you understand that, but like, their soul has to have a certain experience, and you're infringing upon their free will. So, so that's really not the way to go about it. Also, when people say this, I mean, when it comes to people not wanting to give you the valuable information you need, simply because once you get the information from them, so those people, they also don't understand the value within their own soul. And they also, those kinds of people don't understand that those people don't understand. Exactly, it's their journey, not yours. Those people don't understand that you're always going to get new ideas if you continue to grow. So that's someone that's stagnant on their journey. There are certain services you can offer where you're going deep, like super deep, like really, really in depth, and you know that the information is going to be tailored for that one individual that you're dealing with. That's why consultations matter. You know what I mean? Because those specific questions that individual has, they're paying you for your time and for you to share your information. We have work, we have bills. I'm writing 3 fucking books, running a master class, and booking and working with different clients. So I'm saying, like, you don't have an unlimited amount of time in a day. So it's very, very important. And that's still an exchange of energy. So you're just going to sit around and just give away your energy? That doesn't make any sense. So a lot of people try to drain you of your money resources as much as they can, because they know once you get what you need, you'll no longer need them anymore. Yeah, but that I would just ignore, because people are always going to try and drain other people for resources because they're not aware of their own inner power. And they're not actively, it's not easy to actively cultivate your inner power. This is not an easy path. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to push you further. It's supposed to make you mentally a fucking beast. Strong strength. I mean, knowing what true strength is. True strength is within the self. You ain't gonna find it nowhere out here. You're gonna find it within yourself. Okay. A lot of our culture doesn't give children the freedom of expression. I am expressive, and as a child, I found myself being silenced. I couldn't use my imagination because I was tormented mentally. It's really sad. But on a positive note, um, you now can come to a space that well, first of all, you get to discover your imagination in ways a lot of people haven't been able to do since they were kids, or since you never really experienced it. Like, as an adult now, all those imaginations and all those realities and things, you get to, like, like, to rediscover it, and it be like you're discovering it for the first time, is like a gift, especially as an adult. So many people around you are not going to have that. So that ends up being a gift. And okay, so what will happen is, when you were silenced as a kid, you'll have a very excessive throat chakra as an adult. And so then it's very, very important to learn how you want to express yourself, and speak, but not only speak, also take time to listen. That's what, because that's what I find to be very important. That was actually one of the main skills that has helped me the most, is learning to listen to others and not just speak, but actually listen, actually care. Like it's so beautiful when you care about whoever you're sitting across from, about what they're saying. Like how many of you guys can honestly admit that you care? Like you're like, I don't really fucking care. Yeah, so you become either over or under expressive. So just express yourself in a more balanced way and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You should let me put my email. You should email me because you might like vibe with some of my services or something. So there. And so maybe I could help you with, if I could help you with something, I would love to. Okay, so you guys got a whole conversation happening here. Okay, if you published a book and somebody out their own chapter, added their own chapter in the middle of it, it's not your story anymore. You're welcome, baby. Saying that acting outside of your nature to maintain a consistent. I'm not in the business of right or wrong. There's just ways of doing things. If that happens to be in alignment for you, then that is something that you should do. And there may be a lesson there that you need to learn. But I mean, how many times a day do we act outside of our nature? And your nature is actually compassion. Your nature is setting healthy boundaries. Your nature is being in a state of joy. So most people, most of the day, your nature is very giving and loving. It shares. It's balanced. It's harmonious. So most of the day, many of us are acting outside of our nature because we're born into a system that teaches you not to truly act within your nature. And I think that is a problem. I don't think that it's fair that there's somebody that gets to determine how you carry yourself in society, that you can't be happy. Like falling into your nature is really falling into a balance, and then also finding your own um soul purpose, your mission, the reason why you're here. And it could be anything. Yeah, your nature is really being in a state of joy. Okay. Boom, boom. People envying me because of my talents. Okay, so in that state, you just want to be aware in that case, because a lot of people envy other people. People envy other people because it really, what's happening is that they see something in you that they think that they don't have access to within themselves. So they've told themselves a lie and they cut themselves off instead of, because there's another perspective. And this is my perspective. If I see somebody that can do something that I can't do, that I think is fucking amazing, I share in their joy and I share in their success, because if they did it, I can do it. You're now being an example of something incredible inside of myself that I had no idea about until now. So, like, you acting in your highest potential shows me what it feels like to act in my highest potential. So, every time somebody discovers their uniqueness and they share their uniqueness with the world, they're giving the world a gift. And there's so many different ways that we can really interpret things like that. Exactly. Such a thing is true. There's no such thing. People are always going to have, honestly, people are always going to have their own, based on the way the filters that they're using. So you can have like a love filter, you can have a hate filter, you can have a envy filter, a jealous filter, a self-doubt filter. Like, these are the filters that you use that create that as you're taking in what you're seeing around you, those filters, they shape the way that you view reality. That's the best way I can describe it. So we're in the business of removing filters. If we're going to have a filter, let it be love. If you're going to have a filter, let it be passion. And good. They weren't really your friends. Plus, you're vibrating different, so they couldn't be in your circle anymore anyway. Um, all right. So, okay. Okay. So, who wants to learn how to do some ill shit? You guys are so beautiful. Everybody in the chat so supportive on this side. I only got spiritual expression and I here on YouTube. I don't go live on YouTube often, so that makes a lot of sense. It's once in a blue. Let's learn something that's fun. You guys want to learn? I don't know what I have that's different or new because I'm constantly living my reality. So, I know people are really into manifestation, but do you guys ever like play with your spirituality instead of just using it to try and figure out how to manifest something physical? Like or manifest something physical that's fun. Like, have you ever spoken to the sun? Have you ever have you ever really taken time to connect with the grass? Have you spoken to the bees? Have you vibed with the dragonflies? I don't think that we are so, and see, the rush towards manifestation, the rushing of the manifestation is a programming in this matrix, in the false matrix, where you're actually being programmed to rush towards your death. So money is dead, right? It's death. Debt is death. So you're programmed in this matrix to begin to run towards this illusory, I don't know, this illusion. There's an illusion. Yeah, animals are a lot of fun too. They always got something, especially the blue jays are interesting. So there's an illusion that you're running towards, that when I have this, my life will be better. And yeah, I actually had a moth land on me. I thought that was, and it was like 11 o'clock. So I was like, I must be brighter than the sun today. Like, and you see how you could take it and just flip the interpretation. I like blue jays. You have to shift your perspective. Dionysus messaged me. Let's set up a session because you need. I think we could really get some work done. Okay. So we're programmed in this matrix, and a lot of our parents really instilled this programming in us that we're supposed to rush towards something, that there's going to be a better life on this side when I get this thing, when I do this thing. So you don't have to rush towards anything. There's no rush. There is no rush. Do you guys remember the movie? It wasn't Out of Time. Maybe it was Out of Time, but the one where they had like time, and like time, it was Out of Time because time was like the currency in the movie. And then the people with the most time were like the elite and the richest people, and they moved very slow because they had all the time. And then all the poor people were always rushing around because they'd never had enough time. Um, that's like a metaphor for what's actually going on in our society, where some of us feel like we don't have enough time, and then there are others of us that that are coming to a space that we can slow down because your soul is eternal. So it's like you've been tricked into believing that you're poor and that you're broken and that you can't be fixed and that you're going to have to rush around your whole life to have anything. But the one thing that you have that other people don't have is you have your soul. and your soul is eternal. So like, what are you rushing towards? I think it's called Out of Time. But it was a yeah, I ain't gonna talk about. I be finding the ill foreign movies, these little the movies I be finding are amazing. Um, but so you've been tricked into believing that you don't have enough time, and because you believe that you don't have enough time, you're basically dealing with manifestations that you and things that you want to put into reality that are only half done because everything's in divine timing. Aren't you the diviner? Aren't you the divine? So everything is in your divine timing. And you've been tricked into believing that you're on somebody else's time. It is at a time. I knew it. Yeah, Justin Timberlake is in that movie. It's a good movie though. Um, so yeah. So let's see. Boom, boom, boom. My grandma has. Oh, you guys are on the Blue Jay thing still. Damn Blue Jay. I love Blue Jays. Blue Jays are spiritual messengers and they bring clarity. I did a ritual uh the morning of the full moon on Friday the 13th. I did a ritual and I burned. Remember, I think I posted a video of it. I did a bunch of little scrolls and I put them in a bag and I let them charge on my altar for about a week or so. And then I took those and I just burned everything with other stuff that my bears, I forgot what bears mean. Could be hibernation. It depends on the nature of the animal. That's how you figure out what it means. So if you were a Native American, you could just sit and watch the animal, and based on its nature, that's how they used to name each other too. So you name people based on their nature. That's why you don't name a baby right away. You would see what its nature was and then name it. Butterflies, bees. Yeah, bees actually never sting me, but they're always around me. It's super weird. They just come around, they'll fly around like my leg or like my head, and they just go away. And butterflies I've always seen. I love butterflies. All right, let me get back on track. Y'all got me a little off track. I'm probably gonna go soon. I just wanted to make sure I came through and said what's up. I mean, I'm on here so long because it's literally been like 2 weeks of being, you know, in my own fucking world and away from everyone. So I figured I would come and just express, come through with some truths, with some compassion, with some love, with some things that we can all maybe learn from each other. And that's what I love about the soul family. I love how everyone's coming together, talking, learning. Um, really brings me a sense of joy. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I do. You're all stars, from my perspective. All right, let's get over all this mushy stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Um, no, I don't think you didn't mess up unless you believed you mess up. Just message me. I'm gonna go. Take care. Facebook, I'm out. Love you guys. All right. YouTube, any more questions here? Share. Because I'm out on this one too in a sec. Okay. Take care, guys. Mwah. Live your best life.